Hi guys, it's Jessica, and today I'm going to be doing my May wrap-up. Before I begin talking about the books that I read in the month of May, I would like to talk a little bit about my recent video that I just uploaded yesterday, and that is the huge book unboxing where I unboxed 13 books, and it was long, and it was really exciting, but yeah, you should probably go check that out. But I did promise part 2, and I didn't realize that there were only 2 other books that I hadn't gotten in the mail yet. They all mailed them the same day. And one of them isn't coming in 2 weeks, so I got one book today, which I just opened, and that is The Designated Ugly Fat Friend by Cody Keplinger. I've heard great things about this book, and it is contemporary, so since summer is coming, I'm going to need to read a ton of contemporary, so I'm really excited for this. So now let's get to the books that I read in May. I read 8 books this month because I had a lot of extra time, and I was just reading the entire month, and I would stay up really late just with a book in my hand, and I there I loved all of these books. Some of them were 4 stars. I think like a few of them were 5 stars. I haven't really decided yet. I haven't really uploaded them to Goodreads yet, but I will get to that soon. So let's get started with the books. The first book I read this month, well actually this isn't in any order. I just don't feel like arranging them right now. But anyway, so the first book I read this month was Every Day by David Levithan. This is the story about some being, and this being, which I'm going to call a he, isn't male or female, but his name is A, and basically every day A wakes up in a different body, and he has to get accustomed to that body that he's in, and he's never allowed himself to get close with the people in his body's lives because he knows that the next day he will move on and go to a different body. And then one day he meets this girl named Rhiannon that he falls in love with, and it just escalates on from there, and it was so good, and the plot was so interesting. I have heard some bad things about this book, to be honest, but I personally love this book. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, and it was so worth it, and David Levithan is such a great author, so I recommend this book. I recommend like all of these books, to be honest. These books are good. And then the second book I read was a reread, and that is Matched by Ali Condi. I reread this book because I owned Crossed in hardcover, and I wanted to get into this series again because I've heard some mixed things, and I completely forgot what Matched was about, but obviously I've read it before. That's why it's kind of like not in the best condition. But Matched is about a girl named Cassia, and she lives in the society, and she lives in a society where the society decides who you live, where you work, when you die even. And this is basically a love triangle, and I know the whole controversy between love triangles in YA books, and I do admit love triangles aren't the best thing, but they're not particularly bad to read in a book. Ali Condi's writing is actually really good, and I really enjoyed this, and I hopped right on to Cross, which I am currently reading. So I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. I have heard great things about this book, which is the main reason why I got it. This story follows a plot that I can't think of any other author who has written something like this. This is about a brother and sister who fall in love after their mom neglects them, and they are forced to care for their siblings themselves, and they work together much like a husband and wife would. And it is a little uncomfortable going through it, but you really do learn to not really understand the characters, but you do bond with the characters, and it is in dual perspective. And so the ending was just, I was crying, and it was so good, and I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. 4.5 or 5 out of 5 stars. But this was really, really good, and I highly recommend this one. The next book that I read in May is Need by Carrie Jones. This is about a girl named Zara, and she suspects that someone is semi-stalking her. And this is a pixie book, and the guy who is stalking her turns out to be a pixie. That's not a spoiler. It kind of says it in the series name. And there are shapeshifters, and it's so hectic. And overall, this was a pretty good book. And she memorizes these phobias, and it's really hard to explain. Like, you have to get into it. And there's a lot of plot twists throughout this book as well. And so this was pretty interesting, and I think I rated it 3.5 or 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. Let's see. This was really, really good. I had been a little bit hesitant to pick up this series, but after I heard all the good things, I thought I kind of had to. There's just so much to explain about this. There's vampires and Strigoi, and I can't explain this book. It was good. Just pick it up, read it, love it. 4 out of 5 stars. That's all that needs to be said. Then I picked up It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Bizzini. I have not watched the movie for this yet. This is a pretty serious topic. It's about suicide in teens and psychiatric hospitals. This is about a boy named Craig he lives in New York. He starts getting really stressed after he gets into this pre-professional college, and he stops eating, he stops sleeping, and one night he almost kills himself. And so he checks himself into a suicide hospital accidentally, or not, mental hospital accidentally, and he meets these people, and there's a bit of a love story in it, and it's just so good. And Ned Bizzini himself has spent time in a psychiatric hospital, so I feel like he knew a lot about what went on there, so that was really interesting to read about. And then I read Angel Fall by Susan E. This was probably my favorite book that I read this month. I rated this a 5 out of 5 stars. This is an angel book, and I wasn't sure if I would like angel books or not, because this is the first angel book that I've read. This is about a girl named Penryn, and after she loses her sister, she will do anything to get her sister back. And that includes making a deal with her enemy, who is an angel. And this enemy just happens to be the strongest angel there is. And there is a bit of a love story to it, and it was such a beautiful story. At the end, it got so good. And so, of course, I had to pick up the next book, World After, which is in my huge book unboxing video, which you should definitely watch. I think I'm going to put the link. Yeah, I'll put the link to the video in the description. And then I read, which this is actually the last book I read this month, Amelia Ann is Dead and Gone by Kat Rosenfield. Wait, is this the last book? I'm not sure. Maybe it's not. I don't think so. But anyways, it said that if you love Pretty Little Liars, then you would love this, and I'm obsessed with Pretty Little Liars, so I had to pick this up. This is a murder mystery about this girl, and she lives in a small town, and there's been a murder, and she basically, throughout the book, she slowly uncovers the mystery of how Amelia Ann died. And it is told in dual perspective of her and the narrator, who is explaining what is happening to Amelia Ann and what leads their paths to cross. And there's a huge plot twister in the end that I didn't see coming at all. I'm not sure if you will or not, because it becomes, at the end you're just like, oh, now I get it. But you don't see it coming while you're reading it. At least I didn't. I don't know if you will, but this was a really, really good book. It was a little bit hard to get into in the beginning, but eventually I did. So I'm really glad that I was able to. And it's not a very thick book. It was a really quick read, and I flew through this like in a day or two, just reading straight. But yes, I really, really love this book, and so I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. See, as you can tell, I didn't really read any bad books this month. It's all like 4 stars. 4 stars is the... I don't even know what I'm saying. Forget that. So these were the books that I read in the month of May, and... okay. And this was the book that I unboxed for you guys. I'm probably going to have a mini book unboxing with another video sometime later. I'm not sure if I will be reading a bunch of books in the month of June, because that's my birthday month, and I'm going to be really, really busy, and we're going on tons and tons of vacations this month. And normally on vacations I can't get that into reading. Like, I'm always busy, and we're going to be at the mall and the beach a lot. So I'll try to read books, a lot of books, but I'm not promising anything. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment any good books that you've read lately, or any recommendations for me, because I'm always looking for recommendations, and I need books to buy because I never have enough for some reason. So, yes, again, thank you for watching this video. Have a great day, and happy reading.